Hi. Oh, okay. Um, Sunette's video on the point of rushing and being in a constant state of haste, focusing on what I'm doing rather than who I am or who one is, has been extremely helpful, and in experiencing how helpful listening to that interview is, I haven't been looking in the right direction in terms of what aspects of myself I need to look at. And after listening to several of these interviews where Sunette deconstructs patterns that are commonly experienced by most, if not all, people, I'm beginning to see a pattern in terms of self-corrective application, and there is a sort of commonality with all of these solutions, and that is to apply myself, meaning always in every moment be clear about who I will accept and allow myself to be here. In other words, what I will accept and allow myself to experience here. Answering the question, who must I be here if I were to live with myself forever? Thus, taking into consideration a point of sustainability. Self-sustainability, where I would no longer subject myself to these emotional roller coasters of joy and depression, and stress in between, and panic and fear, and instead just remain here, standing here, constant, stable. So I could also rephrase the question to who will I have to create myself to be to be comfortable with myself here. And in being comfortable with myself here, therefore be comfortable with myself infinitely, never stressing myself or straining myself to a point where I sort of force myself to participate in the mind again and act on this pressure of thinking. Okay, so what happened in my day? Yes, last night I just right before going to sleep I resolved within myself not to sleep because I simply wasn't feeling tired. So what I did was I just laid my head on the bed, on the pillow, and just breathed. And at one point or another, I drifted off to sleep. And then at the sound of my alarm clock at 7 a.m., I woke up ready to do anything. There was no initial state of grogginess at all. I didn't feel groggy at all. But, yeah, Sunette has also spoke about the but fear, DUT fear. Highly recommend it to watch it for whoever may be watching this, if they haven't ever already. But I rationalize sleeping in with myself by talking to myself about how comfortable the warm blankets are compared to the cold environment around me, or the colder environment around me. And so I slept in for an extra 3 hours. So I woke up at 10, and I'm seeing that whenever I sleep in, that is when the dreams manifest within me, and I place myself in this dream landscape. And it's quite fascinating because I see myself in my dream actually participate in a consistent dream world that I have created in my head. The ultimate, the point where all of my hidden ambitions and wants, needs, and desires manifest. Itchy. Yes, and within this dream world that I visit whenever I sleep in, I always create myself to be in a position where I am the popular kid, where everyone is attracted to me for verbal stimulation, so to speak, where people always come to me to talk about anything. And in the past I have had dreams where people that I perceive to be popular in this reality play an opposite role in my make-believe, in my so-called ultimate make-believe world as my dream world. and I would place them in a position like how a beggar looks up to passers-by for money. Just this wanting to fill this lack within them. At least that's how I perceive beggars to exist as. Thus, those popular people are placed in the same role when I'm in my dreams. Interesting. Yeah, what is also interesting is, although in my dreams I am the popular kid, so to speak, my experience of myself does not change. There's always this background mind noise of worry and fear of being inferior, fear of being in the position of the beggar, as my idea of what a beggar is. And this constant maintenance of this image of myself, this persona as the popular kid, and yeah, all of my dreams have left me waking up tired, sometimes panicking, often rushing. I must study well, or I must get high grades on my exams. I must. And so I become so engrossed, as Sunette has described, I've become so engrossed in my self-experience within what I do that I forget what I actually need to be paying attention to and what actually matters, which is who I am here in this moment, just this moment, and what I am accepting and allowing myself to exist in this moment. Also highly recommended to watch that interview. Link in the description. Anything else? No, just extremely grateful for the interview that Sunette has posted up on the point of rushing. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. Wait. That has become like a reaction now. It's not heartfelt. Sort of become a social formality, like saying hello to a friend that you pass by. You. Oh. sort of like having to say hello when to a friend that I passed by. Just rephrase that statement to see what would come up, and what has come up is a fear of rejection, being rejected by other people, and fear of losing out and losing myself if I just freely express myself, justified with many memories of when I was a child, and when I freely expressed myself, I would often speak about details that other people are absolutely uncomfortable with talking about, and thus out of the love of my parents, they would tell me, and in that telling me actually gives me a conversation that would go like, if you keep on doing this, you will lose, and you will fail, and failing is a bad thing. Just trying to remember the subject that I was talking about. Also been saying a lot. Yeah, I'll just move on. Been saying a lot, a lot in this vlog. And it's because of a personal message I received that claimed that I seem to be suicidal and make myself seem to be a scary person. And of course, that person's username is under a fake name and not under his or her real name. And he or she might be watching this right now. But aside from that, focusing on why I feel compelled to say and to fill in the gaps of silence, so to speak. Fear of rejection. Again. Rejection. Fear of being an outcast, being casted out. When what I really fear is me casting myself out, me alienated by myself, fear of me running away from myself in fear of a fear. And in fearing, I manifest that fear. So in that I'm trying to fit into the sender's idea of what a normal person is, a person that he or she would allow and accept in his or her world, where I uphold this person to be representing society. When what I actually want is simply to accept myself for who I am and work with myself here. And in that whole process, be comfortable with where I am within my process, where I am in terms of the flaws I still allow and accept within myself, certain inconsistencies, procrastination, depression, cycle, and putting on or fitting myself into an idea of myself instead of just being comfortable with myself here and expressing myself here. This is turning out to be pretty long, but I'll continue for myself. Feel free to stop watching. I was just judging myself there, and now I forget what I was talking about. Oh, how I play with myself. To put it more bluntly, how I fuck myself. Oh, how much I fuck with myself. It's ridiculous and completely unnecessary. And there I'm judging myself again. Okay, I'll stop that. And those are the main points that have arisen today. And I'm happy to once again see myself seeing more of myself as the weaknesses and the so-called bad habits that I have allowed and accepted myself to live as, to be lived by. Thank you for watching.